Hello guys, welcome back to ESENtaxa. Andrea Papito here, and in this video we are going to talk about the Italian digital nomad visa with the Impatriate regime or without the Impatriate regime, which is the match, which are the problems, obstacles, if those two things can combine or they can collide. So if you're new to this channel, ESENtaxa talks about how to optimize your taxation if you move to Italy. We also cover Belgium as a jurisdiction, and we explain you if the relocation to Italy makes sense tax-wise. So if you are planning to move to this country and you have no idea how the taxes works there, you can contact us. In the description below the video you have our calendar link in which you can book 20 minutes consultation if you have very few specific questions, or if you want to have a full consultancy video call with me, with my colleagues. It's 1 hour call, or you can also write us at info@esentaxa.com for other specific questions or for tax simulations. The tax simulation is one of the services which is extremely important because it allows you to understand exactly with number which is the tax burden that you have to pay if you move to Italy, and then decide if this country makes sense for you or not. Now, in today's video, I want to recall the Italian digital nomad visa. Why recall? Because in the previous video in ESENtaxa, if you're following this channel, I have already talked about this visa. So this is a second video about the Italian digital nomad visa. And this time we analyze this visa, if it works or not with the Impatriate regime. Okay? Because the visa, it's something that we don't deal with actually, because we are not we are not an immigration firm, we are an accounting firm. But still, some visas, they have some tax implications behind it, or maybe they could conflict with other tax regimes in Italy, okay? So we have already said that the Italian digital nomad visa, it's a perfect match with the Forfait regime, okay? So the Italian digital nomad visa, it's a perfect match with the Forfait regime. Okay? In Italian known as regime forfettario. Okay? If you don't know what is this, you have to subscribe to ESENtaxa, because it's the best way to understand exactly all the tax regimes that allow you to pay a lot of less taxes that you expected. Okay? In this regime you pay only 5% flat tax, up to a threshold of 85,000 euro per year. So it's extremely convenient regime, and it perfectly works with the visa, digital nomad visa, because the Forfait regime, it's manageable, of course, online, totally, and there is a lot of less things to do, also from the accounting point of view. So it's extremely good, while the Impatriate regime, we might not be so sure if we apply for the visa, for the digital nomad visa. Why? For a simple reason. So the Impatriate regime has more restrictions. So the Impatriate regime requires you to stay in Italy at least 4 tax years. Full tax years, which means that you have to stay for your name registered in the Italian municipality for at least 48 consecutive months, okay? So this means full for 4 years. It's not just about tax residency, at the top of the tax residency. So this is one of the big restrictions. And the digital nomad visa works by default for 1 year, you see? And you have the chance to extend the digital nomad visa for another 12 months, but we don't know if the law allows you to extend for the 3rd and for the 4th year, you see? And then if you don't have the right to stay in Italy, you might not be able to respect all the requirements of the Impatriate regime, and then you have to give back all the tax benefit. So be careful about this point. We don't know at the moment if the Italian digital nomad visa, let's call it Italian visa, can stay up to 4 years. Okay? We don't know if the visa allows you to stay in Italy for 4 years, because the Italian digital nomad visa, the concept behind it is to allow certain kind of persons, certain kind of job activities which are done remotely. This is the definition of Italian digital nomad visa. It means that only if you have the proof of a digital nomad, so you have the proof of working remotely for your employer, or you're a freelancer and you're working for remote clients, then you have the possibility to apply for this visa. But this visa means that you might be in Italy temporarily for 1 year. 1 year in Italy means that you have to pay taxes in Italy on your worldwide income because you become tax resident, but only for that tax year. If you stay 12 months, but you can also stay 24 months because this visa allows you to take one extension. But we only are aware today that there is only one extension possibility. So if you want to stay more time in Italy, then you have to switch to another type of visa, which is a little bit more complex to obtain. If you, there are certain kind of visas in Italy called elective visas in which you cannot work. So you cannot run your business as a digital nomad visa. You can stay in Italy 4 years, you respect the Impatriate regime, but then you cannot work, you see? So it's very dangerous right now, so stay tuned on ESENtaxa because we might have some news about this. We are gonna check if the extension, the possibility of extended digital nomad visa goes for more than 2 years, and then it's fine if it reaches 4. But this is the first big constraint. The extension of the possibility of extension the visa. Of course, if you are in Italy with this visa, then you acquire the Italian citizenship, for example, because you have the iuris sanguinis procedure. There also a lot of people have this kind of possibility. Then, okay, you have the possibility to stay in the country. You become tax resident in this country for more than 2 years, and then it's fine, and then you can respect the Impatriate regime. For those who are in this channel for the first time, the Impatriate regime means to have a tax discount of 50% against your RPF, while the Forfait regime is 5% flat tax. A 50% discount means that the RPF tax bracket progression is from 23% up to 43%, and basically you cut by half this number. So you divide by 223 by 243, all your income, the taxable income is cut by half with the Impatriate regime, and you have a maximum cap of 600,000 euros. So up to 600,000 euro, you can be a freelancer, and you are under the Impatriate regime respecting all the requirements of the Impatriate regime. And for this, we have also published an Impatriate regime eligibility test 2024, because this regime has been updated recently, and you can check if you are qualified or not for this regime. Okay, this is also very important. While the Forfait regime, I always repeat this threshold, it's up to only 85,000 euros. So this is the difference. So it depends on the volume of your business. Okay, it's very important to understand that. And then you can choose between those two regimes. In theory, both regimes works in combination with the visa. This is for sure. The Forfait regime, we said for sure, and I also explained in the previous video. But for the Impatriate regime, we have some doubts on this year's problem. So unless you find out with an Italian lawyer the certainty of staying in Italy for more than 2 years, because we know that the visa can be extended only once at the moment, or you have alternative way, you start with the digital nomad visa and then you jump to another type of visa. Basically, you find any possible way to stay in Italy for 4 consecutive years, then it's fine, and then you can apply the Impatriate regime, of course, if you also respect all the other requirements and constraints of the Impatriate regime. Again, in the eligibility test in the description below the video, you will find out, okay? So in this video, I just want to remark and focus on these things, combining the Forfait regime with, combining the Impatriate regime with the Italian digital nomad visa. Keep in mind also another thing. The Impatriate regime is a regime designed for people who wants to impatriate back to Italy and stay long term. The digital nomad visa, it's for those who just want to stay in Italy sometime, 1 year, 2 years, and then it's not previewed that they can stay, you see? So also the concept of this visa is not really so affiliate with the concept of the Impatriate regime. So keep in mind also these things. In the future, we might have some tax clarification from the Italian tax agency. At the moment, from the taxation point of view, everything is fine. You can theoretically apply it for the Impatriate regime under this visa, but still, we have to make sure 100%. And for our point of view, here in ESENtaxa, we have some doubts in terms of extending the visa up to 4 years. Unless you have an alternative way or a safest way to stay in Italy for 4 consecutive years. I hope you like this video. This video was a little bit shorter than the others, just to put the focus and the accent on this specific thing. Stay tuned for more information about ESENtaxa, about Italy, about the way of moving to this country and pay less tax possible. As always say at the end of each video, notification bell, like button, and subscribe to the channel to help us grow, and in order to give you for free more and more content like this one. See you to the next video. Bye.